You left the 9 to 5. Now you're the CEO, CFO, HR, and the tax department. We'll map your cash flow into 5 simple accounts, show the buffer and salary system in action, and cover essentials freelancers ignore. SEP Solo 401k, HSA, and disability insurance. Plus, a cautionary story that proves high income means nothing without discipline. Watch to trade fear for focus.
Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so we're digging into a ton of pretty dense financial research today, boiling it down for you. You know, we all kind of romanticize freelancing. Be your own boss, make your own schedule, maybe take off a random Tuesday.
Oh, definitely. That dream is, well, it's powerful, but then the reality just hits you like a ton of bricks. You leave that 9 to 5, and suddenly you're not just the CEO, you're also like the CFO, HR, probably the janitor too.
And the tax collector. Let's not forget that one. There's nothing quite like seeing, say, a $5,000 client payment land in your account. And instead of excitement, it's instant panic.
Totally. Your brain just goes, okay, wait, how much of this is actually mine? You know, you got to carve out money for taxes, maybe insurance.
And cover those inevitable down months. Yeah, that fear is real. We saw data showing something like 70% of freelancers feel financially unstable because of this exact thing.
And it's important to get that freelancing isn't some, side gig anymore. Not for everyone. Our sources show it's a serious career path now, especially for skilled folks in tech, marketing, consulting, you name it. But the financial systems, especially taxes, well, they weren't.
Before we slay, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and leave some love.
Really built for us. Create some unique hurdles you got to jump over, right away.
Okay, so let's unpack all of that. Our mission here is to help you stop doing that thing where you budget based on your absolute best month ever.
Which never works.
Right, and start building a system that's actually stable, sustainable. We're going to get into the structure and, crucially, the 2025 tax updates you absolutely need to know about.
Yeah.
Don't want to get caught out.
So the root of it all is the inconsistency, the volatility. Your income swings wildly. Depends on the season, how much work you have, and let's be honest, when clients actually decide to pay. That net 30 can easily become net 60 or net 90.
Yeah, I saw this quote from a freelance video editor basically saying the money he needed for next month's mortgage showed up 3 months late. And that uncertainty doesn't just mess with your budget, it messes with your head. Constant low-level anxiety.
It really does. Affects your focus, everything. And, we can't really talk solutions without acknowledging that freelancer means a lot of different things to different people. The advice has to fit the situation.
Good point. Let's break down that spectrum a bit. You've got folks maybe earning, say, $2K to $7 a month, often younger, Gen Z, millennials may be doing gig work or just starting out. For them, it's often about basic survival, right? Maybe no emergency fund, and getting hit with a tax penalty is like a huge deal.
Exactly. And a big trap for this group is something called lifestyle creep. They have one really good month, maybe hit that $7 mark, and
hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and let me know your thoughts.
Boom, nicer car, bigger apartment, before they've actually saved up a cushion. Then a slow month hits, and suddenly they're scrambling.
Okay, yeah. Contrast that with, say, the higher earners, the independent consultants, pulling in well over $7 a month. They're usually past that survival stage. Now they're thinking tax optimization. Should I be an LLC? An S-Corp? How do I build real wealth?
Totally different set of questions. And then there's another important group, older freelancers, maybe 50 plus. A lot of them are playing catch up on retirement savings, so they're maybe more cautious, looking for really solid advice from the IRS website or established financial news, not so much the TikTok trend. So whatever system we talk about, it needs to feel reliable, grounded.
All right, so we get the volatility problem. Now let's hit those scary numbers. First big one you just have to burn into your brain, 15.3%.
Yep. The self-employment tax. See, when you work for a company, they pay half your Social Security and Medicare taxes, and you pay the other half. But when you're the boss, guess what? You pay both halves. So that's 12.4% for Social Security, 2.9% for Medicare, boom, 15.3%. And that's before your regular income tax.
Okay, that 15.3% hits hard. But the calculation itself trips people up too, right? Our sources mentioned it's calculated on 92.35% of your net profit. Why that weird number? Not just 100%.
Yeah, it seems kind of random, but there's a reason. It's basically a little deduction the IRS gives you. You get to deduct 1/2 of your self-employment tax before you figure out your income tax. That 92.35% is just a shortcut the IRS uses to account for that deduction. So point is, If you just calculate 15.3% on your total profit, you'll actually set aside a bit too much for this specific tax, but you need to calculate it right for your income tax. It's complicated.
Bureaucracy at its finest.
Yeah.
Okay, which leads perfectly into the next big stress point, estimated taxes.
Yeah.
And the penalties.
Yes. Look, if you think you're going to owe the IRS $1,000 or more when you file, you can't just wait until next April. You have to pay estimated taxes throughout the year, quarterly. The deadlines are fixed. April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and then January 15th of the next year. Miss them or underpay significantly, and you'll get hit with penalties, painful ones.
Okay, so quarterly payments, got it.
Yeah.
And as if that wasn't enough, there's a big change coming for 2025 that's going to affect almost everyone.
Hit that subscribe, bell it up, and ride the full wave with me.
Using payment apps, right? The 1099K thing.
Yeah, this is the hot topic right now. The IRS wants better visibility into, well, all the money changing hands online. So for 2025, the threshold for platforms like PayPal, Venmo, Stripe, Etsy, when they have to send you and the IRS a Form 1099-K is expected to drop. It was $20,000 and 200 transactions for a long time. Then there was transition talk, but for 2025, it's looking like it'll be just $2,500, down from a temporary $5,000 threshold in 2024.
Wow, $2,500. That's really low. So what's the impact if I sell some crafts online or do a little side work?
It means you're way more likely to get a 1099-K form in the mail, even for relatively small amounts processed through those apps. And the burden is totally on you to keep meticulous records. You need to be able to prove which parts of that 1099-K amount were actual business income versus, say, personal stuff like getting paid back for dinner. It really forces you to get your bookkeeping act together. No more winging it. Okay, so these challenges, the swings, the taxes, you need structure. You have to replace the chaos. And the absolute number one, most critical step, separate your accounts. Non-negotiable.
Okay, I hear this a lot, but 5 separate accounts. Seriously, that sounds like kind of a pain to manage. Can't it just be really disciplined with a spreadsheet or something?
Well, that's what everyone thinks. But here's the thing. Spreadsheets are theoretical. Separate bank accounts create actual physical barriers. When all your money, client payments, tax savings, personal spending is just sitting in one big pile, your brain sees one big number. And it tricks you into thinking it's all available to spend. Separating it forces discipline. It makes the categories real.
Okay, fair point. So what are the 5 accounts our sources are recommending? Walk us through them.
Right. First, business checking. All client money comes in here. All legit business expenses go out from here. Software, supplies, whatever. Second, business savings. This is your fortress. Holds money set aside for taxes, maybe big future purchases like a new computer. Untouchable for daily stuff. Third, personal checking. This is where your regular fixed paycheck lands. This is for your rent, your groceries, your life.
That fixed paycheck, that's the magic part, isn't it? Creating predictability.
Absolutely. That's the core of the system. Fourth account. Personal savings. This is your emergency fund, separate from the business, plus maybe saving for a vacation or a down payment. And fifth, your retirement account. We'll talk more about options like SEP IRAs or solo 401ks later, but you need a dedicated place for this.
Okay, 5 accounts. And how does this connect to the buffer plus salary system? Explain how that works day to day.
Simple concept, really powerful. You decide on a reasonable, fixed amount. You'll pay yourself each month your salary. Let's say it's $4,000. When you have a great month, more than $4,000 comes in. After you pay business expenses and set aside your tax percentage into business savings, the extra profit also goes into that business savings account. That's your buffer. Then, when you have a slow month and maybe only bring in $2,000, you still transfer your full $4,000 salary to your personal checking. You just pull the $2,000 difference from the buffer you built up in the good months. See? Smooths out the roller coaster. You get paid consistently.
That makes so much sense. We saw this great example, Sarah, a 32-year-old freelance marketer down in Austin. Her system was dead simple. She set up an automatic transfer. Every single time a client payment hit her business checking, 30% immediately zipped over to her business savings for taxes. No thinking involved.
Exactly. That 30% covers her estimated taxes, the 15.3% self-employment, plus federal and state income tax, because she did that automatically and paid herself that fixed $4,000 salary, month in, month out. Within 3 years, she wasn't stressed anymore. She had confidence, a solid emergency fund. That discipline is worth way more than just landing one huge client. Mid-roll ad opportunity suggestion. Perhaps a natural place here would be host speaker. Building that kind of system takes discipline, just like using the right tools can streamline your workflow. Speaking of tools.
Okay, getting the monthly flow sorted is huge, but we also need to think longer term. Retirement. You always hear that time is your best friend with investing. When you're freelance, nobody's setting up a 401k for you. You have to take charge.
Absolutely critical. And for most self-employed folks, the main decision boils down to two popular options: the SEP IRA or the solo 401k. The SEP IRA is often the go-to, especially early on, because it's just simpler, super easy to set up, very flexible. You can contribute 1 year, skip the next if money's tight. Contribution limit is pretty generous too, up to 25% of your net self-employment income, capped at $70,000 for 2025.
Simple sounds good. But what about the solo 401k? When does that make more sense?
The solo 401k really shines for higher earners or for people who maybe started late and need to catch up fast on retirement savings. It's a bit more work to set up, yeah, but the contribution limits are much higher. Why? Because you get to contribute in two ways. First, as the employee, you can put in up to $23,500 in 2025. Then on top of that, you as the employer can contribute up to 25% of your compensation.
Wow, so potentially much higher contributions.
Exactly. And if you're 50 or older, the solo 401k also allows for extra catch-up contributions. It's a really powerful tool for maximizing savings, especially later in your career.
Gotcha. Okay, beyond saving for the future, let's talk about protecting the present. Insurance. This is a massive headache for freelancers in the U.S. You got to buy your own health insurance, usually through healthcare.gov, the ACA marketplace. But there's another insurance that people often forget, and it might be even more critical for protecting your income.
Disability insurance, yes, so important and so overlooked. Think about it. Health insurance pays the doctors and hospitals if you get sick or hurt. Disability insurance pays you. It replaces a chunk of your lost income if you can't work because of that illness or injury. Maybe you break your leg and can't work for 6 months. Disability insurance is what keeps you afloat financially. Honestly, one bad health event without it can completely derail everything you've built.
That's a sobering thought. Protect your income stream.
And quick tip while we're on health stuff, if you happen to have a high deductible health plan, look into an HSA. Oh yeah, health savings accounts are amazing. It's like a secret weapon. Triple tax advantage. Money goes in, tax deductible, it grows tax-free, and if you use it for qualified medical expenses, withdrawals are tax-free too. A lot of people use it almost like another retirement account, but with health benefits. We've talked a lot about managing volatility, but I want to share a story that really hammers home that even earning a lot of money doesn't automatically make you financially stable. Discipline is key.
Okay, lay it on us. This is the cautionary tale.
It really is. Let's talk about Skyjay, not her real name, obviously. A 35-year-old textile artist, incredibly talented, had a fantastic portfolio, landed projects guaranteeing her $120,000 in income 1 year. Her career history included a massive $2 million project. This is someone who should be set, right?
$120K guaranteed. Yeah, you'd think she'd be doing great.
Well, here's the kicker, the devastating part. Despite that income, she had only $500 in savings. Worse, she was drowning in debt. $15,000 on credit cards, paying a horrifying 19.5% interest rate.
Wow, okay. And taxes.
A complete disaster. She owed $17,000 in back taxes, and she hadn't even started figuring out the taxes for the next year, where her income actually jumped even higher to $180,000. Just chaos.
Staggering. High income, but financially falling apart. How?
It wasn't lack of money. It was a complete, total absence of any system. No separate accounts. Every dollar that came in just got swallowed by past debts, current spending. And she admitted she'd fallen for some really bad advice, like that myth that you should intentionally carry a credit card balance to build your credit. Just terrible, costly misinformation.
Oh, that one drives me crazy. It's so wrong. So the lesson here is crystal clear. Making a lot of money is great, but it means absolutely nothing without a system and the discipline to stick to it. You have to separate the money. You have to buffer. You have to set aside that tax money right away, automatically if possible. The system does the work your willpower can't always do. Hashtag, tag outro.
So yeah, what does it all boil down to for you listening right now?
Look, getting financially stable as a freelancer isn't really about chasing the absolute biggest paycheck. It's about taking that unpredictable income and turning it into steady, reliable wealth you can count on. It's about the conversion process.
Right. So the big action items. Get those bank accounts separated seriously. Do it today. Implement that buffer plus salary system so your personal income is predictable. And make it automatic. Set aside 25%, maybe 30% of every single payment for taxes. That 15.3% self-employment tax plus your income taxes. That discipline buys you peace of mind, not just compliance.
And remember that shift from employee thinking to CEO thinking includes taking care of your future self. Fund the retirement account, get the disability insurance. It's mandatory self-care for your business.
Okay, that leaves us with a question for all of you navigating this freelance world. We're curious. Are you leaning towards the simpler SEP IRA for retirement, or are you aiming for the higher limits with a solo 401k? Let us know why in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thinking. And also, with that new $2,500, $199K threshold coming for 2025, what changes are you making to your bookkeeping right now to get ready? Are you feeling prepared for that extra scrutiny?
Definitely share your thoughts. If you found this deep dive helpful, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next one. We'll be checking out the comments and responding. Until next time, stay disciplined, build that system, and stay solvent.